Rawr. Hello everyone, this is Amanda with Artistic Antics LLC, and today we are going to be making the soap The World is Over, which features little dino soaps trapped on opposite sides of a lava river. This is an advanced recipe because it's going to involve some soap manipulation and embedding some soap embeds into clear soap. First, let's go over the materials and ingredients that we're going to need for this soap. We're going to grab 2 plastic pitchers, a spoon, 99% isopropyl alcohol, a digital scale, something to cut your soap with, a cutting board, 1 pound of goat milk soap, 2.5 pounds of clear glycerin soap, a 10-inch soap loaf mold, our mini dinosaur mold tray, our color blocks, red color block, perfect orange color block, cappuccino color block, and green chrome color block, and finally our fragrance oil. You can use any soap-safe fragrance oil, but today we're going to be using Burning Soul from Sierra Candle and Soap Making Company. Without further ado, let's get started. The first thing we're going to want to do is make our dinosaur embeds. You're going to want to make 10 tall dinosaurs and 10 short dinosaurs in total. We want to make our dinosaur embeds first because we want to give them the maximum amount of time to set before embedding them into our clear glycerin soap. You can even make your dinosaur embeds the day before so that there is no chance of them melting within the clear soap. To make our dinosaurs, we're going to measure out 8 ounces of goat milk melt and pour soap and 1/4 of our green chrome color block. Nailed it! Make sure you cut both of these into little chunks so that they can melt faster and more evenly in the microwave. The larger the cubes are, the slower that it will melt in the microwave. Grab your plastic pitcher, put it on the digital scale, add your green chrome color block, then tare your scale to make sure it's at 0. Add your 8 ounces of melt and pour soap base. We're going to melt this in the microwave at 30-second intervals, making sure to stir in between intervals so that our soap base melts evenly. After about 1 minute of melting, the soap is mostly melted, so we're going to use our spoon and stir in the chunks the rest of the way. Put your pitcher on your digital scale, tare it so that it's at 0, and we're going to add our fragrance oil. You can add up to 0.4 ounces of fragrance oil per pound of goat milk soap. However, this particular fragrance oil is very smoky, so we're going to have that. So for half of a pound, we're going to add 0.1 ounces of fragrance oil. Then take your spoon and stir that fragrance oil in. Once your green soap base is fully combined, we're going to move to our mini dinosaur molds and pour our soap into the molds, making sure to spritz the top of the dinos so that there aren't any bubbles. If you have 1 tray of dinosaur molds, you're going to have to wait for these to set, unmold them, and then pour the rest of your tall dinosaurs. You can leave your green soap in the pitcher, and then once you've unmolded your first dinos, you can melt your leftover green soap in the microwave at 10-second intervals, making sure to stir in between to pour into your dino loaf. I have 2 trays of dinosaurs, so I'm just going to do all of it right now. These little dinos also make great travel soaps, so if you have any extra dinos, you can put them in a little container or a Ziploc bag for when you go camping or something. That's all done. Now we're going to make our lava bed. You're going to want both of your plastic pitchers for this step. To make the lava, we're going to use our red and orange color blocks.
Good grief, he's naked!
Cut up 8 ounces of clear melt and pour soap. We're going to be using the clear soap base for this because we want the colors to be very vibrant and have a distinct look separate from the earth and dinos. Cut up 1/8 of a red color block and 1/8 of the perfect orange color block. Put 4 ounces of clear soap and the red color block in one pitcher and the rest of the 4 ounces of clear soap and orange color block in the other pitcher. We're going to melt these pitchers together in the microwave at 30-second intervals, stirring in between. We're melting them at the same time because there's not a lot of soap in these pitchers and we don't want them to get too hot too fast. Once they are melted, stir the colors into the soap with your spoon. We're going to move to our 10-inch mold. We're not going to add any fragrance oil to this because the amount that we will be adding would be so small. Before I start pouring, I want to note that we are going to save a little bit of the red clear soap for later, so make sure you don't pour it all the way in once we start swirling. Pour your orange soap into the 10-inch mold. And then immediately after, we're going to swirl in most of the red clear soap into the orange layer to give it a lava look. Spritz the top of your soap with the isopropyl alcohol to pop any bubbles. And then we're going to let that set for a little bit. You're going to want your soap to be mostly firm to the touch before you pour your next layer. To make our brown earth layer, we're going to cut 8 ounces of goat milk soap and a quarter of our cappuccino color block. Melt that in the microwave at 30-second intervals, stirring in between. Anyways, you're going to add 0.1 ounces of fragrance oil to the brown layer. Make sure you stir that in completely. Once your lava layer is done setting, we're going to spritz it with alcohol before pouring the brown layer. Spritz the top of your brown layer with alcohol to pop any bubbles. To make that earthy look and the riverbed, we're going to use our spoon to scoop and push the brown soap so that it thickens up quickly. We're going to kind of use our spoon to create a large mountain on one side and then a small mountain on the other, and then carve out a small notch in between the two mountains with your spoon so that you can see the lava bed coming up through the brown. This is going to be our lava river. This recipe will be available on my website in the link in the description for $5, or if you sign up to my Patreon, you can get all of my recipes for as little as $1 a month. Once you do this, you're going to melt down the leftover red clear soap in 10-second intervals in the microwave. Spritz your riverbed and then pour the remainder of your red soap in the riverbed to make your lake of lava. Don't worry if you get lava on your small mountain pass, it is an eruption after all. Before we pour our clear layer, you're going to need all of your dinosaur soap embeds, so make sure you have your 10 tall dinos and 10 short dinos. Let me know in the comments what these guys are called, I don't know. For our clear layer, we're going to melt down 2 pounds of clear melt and pour soap. However, this plastic pitcher only holds 1.5 pounds of chunky soap base, so we're going to melt down 1.5 pounds in the microwave for about a minute now, and then add the rest of our clear soap so that we have a total of 2 pounds in our pitchers. Make sure that you use your spoon to break up any large chunks in the clear soap between 30-second intervals. Once your soap is completely melted, we're going to add 0.2 ounces of our Burning Soul fragrance oil. Then make sure you use your spoon to stir that in completely. If you made your dinos on the same day that you're making the rest of your soap, you're going to want to pour your clear soap when it's between 125 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, just to avoid the dinos from melting. I like to measure the temperature while I am stirring the soap, just to make sure that I am not measuring the temperature of the film on top, but the temperature of the solution in the center. All right, let's add our dinosaurs. First, we're going to spritz our mountain and lava with isopropyl alcohol, and then we're going to pour just enough clear soap to cover the smaller mountain with soap. We're going to add our tall dinos, 1 dino per 1 inch of soap base. Make sure you try to center the dinos in the middle of those inches so that when we cut into our soap loaf, we don't nick any of the dinos. Also, make sure that all of your dinos' faces are all pointing the same way. There's a flat side and then the face side. And you want all of the faces to be on the same side and all of the flat sides to be on the same side. After you've added all of your tall dinos, spritz them with alcohol, and then pour enough clear soap to cover the taller mountain. Add your short dinos to the top of the tall mountain across from the tall dinosaurs. Same rules as before, make sure that they are as centered as possible within the inches. Then spritz your soap with isopropyl alcohol and pour in the rest of your clear soap. If you poured your soap at between 125 to 135 degrees, you may have to remelt the clear soap stuck to the sides of the pitcher. You can do this by melting it in the microwave in 10-second intervals. Just make sure you spritz your soap before and after pouring. If you made your dinos in advance, like the day before, you can pour your clear soap at a lot hotter of a temperature, like between 140 and 145 degrees Fahrenheit. This can be advantageous because it'll allow air bubbles to rise to the top of the soap and pop much better. In the B-roll footage, I did this technique, and you can tell from the top of the soap that it's a lot clearer than the soap that I made while I was in costume. All right, that is how to make the soap. Now we just have to wait for 4 hours or up to overnight before we cut into it.
The next day.
It's time to cut into this soap. You can cut your soap using a soap cutting guide or a cutting board. We're going to be using a sharp kitchen knife to cut this soap. I choose not to use a wavy cutter for bars like this because the waves will obscure the image within the soap. Let's start first with the soap cutter. We're going to cut the soap perpendicular to the layers because cutting it against the grain is going to put less pressure on the layers and they're less likely to fall apart. Make sure you try to get in between the dinosaur soap embeds that are in your loaf. Ta-da! Now just do that 8 more times. Voila! That is the world is over soap. Make sure that you like this video if you like it and subscribe to see more of my videos. I try to post every Wednesday. Thank you to Slow TV, Relax, and Background for the volcano background that I used today. If you ended up making the soap, be sure to tag me in any pictures or videos. My handle is @ArtisticAnticsLLC. You can get this recipe in the link in my description for $5, or all of my soap making recipes are available on my Patreon for the cost of your subscription. Right now we have Oogie Boogie, Beetlejuice, Rainbow, and Turn the Freaking Frogs Gay soap recipes on there. I also post on TikTok every day, so check me out on there, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!